Say hi, Tuna. We're out for another swim down beyond the house. That mass on her back's gone down. It's just about gone, so I figured she's okay to go swimming now. She's been dying to go swimming. Felt bad last night, went out jet skiing. She couldn't go, so I gotta make something for the back of it. Like a ramp I can lay down that has carpet on it so she can swim out there in the middle or anywhere and climb up also. If she gets a cranking, she can swim fast. She swims just as good without that. It's just sometimes I like to take her for, give her a break. That's my alarm there. My pre-child check-in. I see her deer grunting over there. They must not have liked it. Hit the bushes here. Pay attention. Tuna, you wait up. Trying to paddle with one hand. She can keep up with me right next to me if I'm paddling regular, so she can swim like a thoroughbred. Oh, she waited for Daddy. Good girl. Good girl, you wait for Daddy. In case I tip over again. Last time I tipped over, I hit a rock there in the middle and I was trying to wiggle my way off it, and yeah, she totally picked up both my socks out of the water. I don't know if I get a video of that or not. Probably not, as I had my other phone and the storage is full on it. I only get freaking 2 minutes at a time. Yeah, you stay down here. A few times last time, she just gets up on the bank there on a beaver run, and she is on the hunt. And she is on the hunt on something. There's no taking her off it. I'm telling you. I just ate a leaf. Something. I'm not feeling good. I haven't been feeling good at all. I had to drive to town today. And, geez, halfway there. I don't know if it's my eyes. Every time I move, I get dizzy. It's like I start to have a MS flare-up or something. Anytime my heart gets elevated, going in town, my anxiety gets going, and that's it. I hate anxiety. My fiance of 20 years is my safe haven. I could just call her and she'd take me right out of it, just hearing her voice. I mean, literally take me right out of it. I don't have her anymore. Unfortunately. It's coming up on the year, July 10th, that she's left. Today is July 2nd. And no one's gonna want to know me on that day. The only thing worse, it'd fall on the Sunday, but I think it's a Thursday. Making me sick talking about it. How do you deal with the woman you love, your soulmate, not loving you anymore and leaving you? The last 3 years she lived here, she would not show me any affection whatsoever. Would not hug me, kiss me, tell me she loved me. I love you back. Not even touch me in any way, except for once or twice a week she wanted sex. It's the only time I get to touch her. Dealing with the depression from my multiple sclerosis, and she took me off. She was in charge of my meds, and I was having chest pains there, wicked chest pains. Not knowing what it was. She was in charge of everything, and my caregiver, so to speak. She's been in the medical field for over 20 years, and she went with me to every appointment, handled all my meds, up until the last 4 years, I should say. After she took me off my buspirone cold turkey, thinking that was causing my chest pains, when it wasn't. It was actually I needed more. I was on the same starter dose for a year. I just needed more. She took me off it completely. Yeah, I went batshit crazy. But it was all my fault. Everything I said started the chain reaction that lasted 4 years. Well, no, it lasted 3 years. Every day, all she wanted to do is fight about the day before. Could never let it go, and that just started another argument, and it was like Groundhog Day every day. Every day, I'd, tried to talk to her, say something nice, and she wouldn't talk to me, be all pissy, and, oh, don't you remember what you said yesterday? Everything was yesterday. Couldn't just let it go and start a new day and move on. Nope. Not understanding that I'm depressed out of my mind, and she's the real cause of it, taking me off that meds. But I didn't hold it against her at the time. I didn't say anything. But it just continued and continued. More or less, I think that's what she's been wanting, and saw the opportunity, and she knows, what sets me off, what my triggers are, and it's all to do with her. I was just wanting to know that she loved me and was gonna stick with me. But I told her that, all you have to do is tell me you love me, and, that you're here for me. That's all I want to hear. Nope. Could not do it. Would not do it. All because of the things I say the day before. As anybody that's ever had anger issues and depression, and a woman that totally shuts down on you, that is your soulmate, And I planned on asking her to marry me again because we've been engaged for over 20 years, and, marriage is everything to me. That's all I ever wanted, to get married, have children, be able to watch my grandchildren play on my farmer's porch. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to make $1 million. Just wanted to, take care of my family and spend all the time with them I could. And I did. I was a stay-at-home dad for both my children. But that don't count for nothing. When I was making good money there, I'd take my oldest daughter shopping every friggin' Friday or Saturday after I get paid. I'd spend, $500-$600 on her every week. I literally have over 100 contractor bags full of toys up in the upstairs in my barn. I saved everything. I saved all their clothes, all their toys, and they're stacked up to the floor above. But come time, I have 2 girls, and my fiance, they're my support system, as you could expect. I planned all this out when I first got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and Jody was there with me through it all. I have all the books she read that talks all about depression, and the first sign of it, she's out the back door. After 20-something years. I just don't understand. And then I had plenty of time to think of everything. I'd be at work and I'd listen to nothing but talk shows on, women, how to please them in bed, to what they're thinking in, menopause. I came across that, and I learned everything there is to know about friggin' menopause. And Luna, come on. Oh, there she is. And I totally think she's going through menopause. She won't admit it. She's 46 years old. She had all the symptoms. I ain't gonna name them all off. I can't remember them all. But she had literally every single one. Maybe not everyone, but out of like 20 symptoms, she had maybe 18 of them. And all the major ones too. And that's when it all happened. But I think it's been a long time coming. About 6 years ago, she started getting really independent because her and her family are not mechanically inclined at all or know much of anything. And she would have me do everything. And I mean everything. And at the time, I bitched about it. Towards the end I did, because a lot of the stuff was ridiculous having me do, and she could do it herself. And now looking back and seeing how she was at the end, it was just lazy, really. We bought a fixer-upper house. At the time, she was ready to give birth. We actually closed on the house like not even a month or so after she was born. Probably not even that. I don't even know if it was a month. But it was a gambrel, 2-bay garage with a small two-bedroom apartment above it. We knew what we was getting. Evidently, she didn't want that house. Because we've been there 19 years. And I got a spider crawling on me. And she had none of her friends or family, and I mean, she's big on her friends and family. She has like 10 close friends. I mean, close friends. Like best friends. Nobody in 19 years has stopped at our house to visit. Not once. Not once. I kid you not once. And I was so blind to everything, thinking life is great, and, you know, phew, she's stirring up that mud and it stinks. So you know where the deer cross everywhere here. I forget what I was saying. But it's just hard after that long. And I ain't gonna get into all the latest stuff where her parents, yeah. Maybe I'll do a separate video for that. You're gonna like that. I'm a felon, okay? I have been since 2000. I went to prison for, I had a year sentence, but I only did like 8 months. I got out on house arrest. I was the first person under 5 years under a 5-year sentence to get that program. Because I fought like hell for it. I knew the right people, and the right people that knew that that wasn't who I was. The reason why I was in there. So they helped me, and I did it, and I didn't get in any one lick of trouble since. 25 years, I may have had a couple uninspected motor vehicle tickets. That's it. You know, in 25 years, no speeding, no nothing like that. Okay, we start going through all this stuff. She moves out last year. I think, yeah, this spring. She left with 2 little recycle bags with clothes, and that's it. Never asked for one more thing out of that house. You know, me being all depressed, and it literally felt like, and it still feels like I drank a love potion. That's how strong that feeling is. And it was hard to look at all her stuff. And even with all her stuff gone now, I see her everywhere in the house. I can't even do dishes because that's all she would do. Dishes, cook, and laundry. That's all she did at that house. She painted 2 sides on the house last spring before she left. No, it was a year before. And that's it. That is it. Didn't do not one thing on the inside. Not one thing. Didn't lift a hammer, a paintbrush, nothing. I redid the whole downstairs. Nice big, large master bedroom with a walk-in closet. Living room down there, laundry room, utility room, wood stove, fireplace, you know. I did all of it. While she would take the kids out with their friends, and because they all had this thing and they all had kids together. Literally, all her friends, they all had children within a month or 2 of each other. You know, so that's where she was. And they all looked down on me because of it. You know, that I'm not out with them. Well, who's going to mow the lawn, and who's going to, you know, talking about another child, you know, where's their bedroom going to be? You know, that house is barely big enough for us now. You know, so that was my castle. It is my castle. I'm still at the house. Well, her parents didn't like me dropping off her stuff at the end of the driveway, a couple loads. So they get mad, call the cops, and say I have guns in the house, which I did. They were my children's guns, 22s, 410s. It was a 20 gauge, single shot. In that I was gonna hurt myself or them. And Jody bought 3 of the guns. Okay? She's standing on a rock. Taking a break. So the cops come. Now, take in mind, those guns have been there forever, and I never touched them. I didn't. And my stepfather's a Maine State Guard. Come on, girl, let's turn around. Come on, we're turning around. Turn around. I can go farther, but I don't know. So, the cops come raid the house. Oh, I can have firearms as long as I'm not possessing them, and I didn't. The firearms is locked in the gun cabinet in the living room, and excuse me, all the ammo was in the closet locked in another gun cabinet. Okay? They come raid the house, arrest me, okay? They take half the ammo, 2 gun cases, leave 2 gun cases. One of them has literally like 2,000 rounds of 22 ammo in it right on my bed, laying open. Then a bunch more in the ammo cabinet in the closet. And they're supposed to take everything, even the cases, anything associated with the firearm. Now, and there was 3 of them in and out, and they were in there a long time. To leave that, either they're incompetent or trying to set me up. And they went through, I knew who called instantly when I walked through the house, because even my daughter's bedroom's torn apart, their dresses, all the clothes out, Jody's stuff. Her dresser was still there, and in her side of the closet, a ton of stuff piled right up to the ceiling, her whole side. Nothing was touched. They went through all my sports cards. For Christ's sake, opened up every box. They did not touch nothing of hers. Nothing. So, that tells me right there who called. How could you do that? And if you knew all the stuff I did for those people, her brother's on his 4th marriage, and after every single one of his wives, the day before, they're praising him, how great she is. As soon as he says, oh, I got divorce papers, boom, they're instant bitch, and she don't deserve you, you don't need her, and a month later, he's with somebody else. How can you love somebody and move right on to somebody else in that short a time? I want to move on, and I still love Jody. She has my whole heart. I just want to move on to try to see if I can love again, which I doubt I'll ever be able to. I just have a poor outlook on women right now after what she did. I just don't see how a woman could do that. But, you know, I totally believe she's my soulmate. You know, I don't want to meet anybody else. You know, after all she's done, I'd take her back in a heartbeat and not even mention anything. And you don't even know one of the worst things. And it was going on the whole time. Well, the past 4 years before we even started having issues. We used to have the same doctor, okay? Then all of a sudden, my testicles start itching, and I mean, I'd itch those suckers till they're bleeding. And the more I itched, the better it felt, bleeding or not. That's how bad it was. I go to our doctor, and no idea. Sends me out with this cream. Now I know it's for yeast infection. Once I got it, I knew because there was a tube already in the bathroom, two tubes on her dresser, and on the counter, and this railing behind the couch in the living room, everywhere. I was like, what the hell? And so kind of find out yeast infection. And she's like, oh no, I get yeast infection on the inside of my legs. And then I start losing the taste in my mouth. It feels like my tongue is burnt. Literally, like I drank boiling hot water. And the corners of my mouth are not like, you know, cold sores, but like cuts. And my lips burn. I mean, I have to use kids' toothpaste. I can't even use regular adult toothpaste because it burns my mouth. I've been on antibiotics and cream. You know, it's better now, but that was 4 years ago it started. I even went to a specialist for my testicles there, and she went with me. And they did the skin sample and all that stuff. Yeah. And her doctor, well, which she worked there, you know, our doctor never said yeast infection. I mean, she was asking me if I had slept with anybody else, and if I knew if she had. And I'm like, I know I haven't, and I can't imagine she has. You know, well, 4 years and still have symptoms and like 4 different types of antibiotics, and it goes away while it's in my system. Once it's out of my system, right back. And I've had different doctors, PCP doctors and stuff. I've had 3 or 4 different ones since then, trying to find a MD doctor instead of a nurse practitioner, you know. Well, gonna run you over, Tuna. What you doing, honey? Daddy, you want to take a break? Take a break. Take a break. Take a break, girl. What are you swimming for? You're supposed to take a break with Daddy. I just got my cooler between my legs. Got some cold water for her. she'll drink right out of my hand. I forgot her bowl, her pop-up bowl, in the truck. Eating bugs. She does good though. She swims with her mouth closed and breathes through her nose. She whiffs something. But, and for her not to tell me that she has a yeast infection down there, and whether I should have or shouldn't have, I did look at her underwear, some of her underwear. She had a bunch of white underwear, and you can tell there's cream stains in the bottom of them. You know, 'cause it's kind of like yellow. I mean, how could you do that to your partner? And to have me stick my face down there? Really? No wonder why she wouldn't kiss me. I haven't done blood work yet. I do have an appointment scheduled, I think the 9th, for blood work to be tested for STDs. I just don't even want to fucking know. Excuse my language. And I don't edit either. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I try to watch my language. The YouTube don't. God, what that mud. I know what you guys are gonna say, but any woman watching, what do you think? And yes, I don't want to act like I was an angel. I never once laid a hand on her. I have said some... Luna, back here. Come on. Come on. You know, I have said some pretty, nasty things to her, mean stuff to her, but to be expected. I mean, she doesn't say a word. The only time when she first, this first come out, 3 years ago, when she just shut down on me, she removed her ring, handed it back, and said she wasn't pursuing this relationship anymore. But stayed for 3 years. And still slept in my bed, had sex with me, and all that, but unfreaking real. Well, I'm gonna spend time with my dog instead of talking about her. It's just hard to get it out of my mind. Oh yeah, now she has a protection order on me. In full custody of my youngest Haley. Yeah, I don't want to get into that right now. But all bullshit and lies. Literally. It's unreal. The length she went through to do this. Lying to the school and having her daughter act sick so I don't go to court when she's at my house. Hadn't seen her 3 weeks. She just happens to come over the night before we go to court to, for our talk about the protection order in custody thing. She has her daughter say that she's sick and can't go to school. So what do I have to stay home with her. She can't stay home alone, sick. Half hour later, she's up bopping around, not sick at all. And when I woke up, she was on the phone with her mother and said, "Oh, Dad, I don't feel good. Mom said I could stay home." I was like, "Well, is she going to tell the court where I am?" "I don't know." tries to call her back, won't answer. Of course, she has me blocked, so I tried to call the court. You ain't gonna get a hold of anybody, you know, the morning of court, especially when phones just open. Yeah, good luck. I left 2 messages and didn't hear back from anybody. Obviously, and the fact that I called doesn't mean anything. I weren't there. So they continued the protection order for 2 years, along with her having custody, full custody, 2 years. So I had to go pay $200 to have her served again to get another court date, and that's coming up on the 7th. And I hope I'm last, which it should be if they go by my last name. Yeah, because I'm going to tell them everything. And if I don't get custody of her, or at least joint custody back, then there's definitely something wrong. But, alright, I'm going to spend time with Tuna here. I'll do a follow-up. Say bye, Tuna. That's all you get.